What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady, and the Chef, joined by my co-host.
Evelux 21. What's up?
It's another day.
And
Another
another loss.
yeah, another one of those too. Um, the Knicks started their road trip, starting against Utah, and unfortunately, the Knicks couldn't get the win against Utah. The Knicks lost that game 113 to 117. The Knicks are now sitting at 13-10. Um, this was a game that the Knicks should have won against Utah. I'm not sure why the Knicks somehow couldn't pull out that win. Um, you know, it's one of those games that, for me, I had the Knicks winning that game. I think we both had the Knicks winning that game just because the Utah Jazz have been struggling this season. Um, I thought watching this game, and I did go ahead and watch the replay again today. Um, I don't know. It was kind of like a weird game for me. I thought the defense was terrible. I thought guys, I saw a few times where guys, one thing the Knicks do is they tend to fall for every little move that the opposing team does. So a
Yes.
guy can have the ball in his hand and he'll just do this, and the Knicks players fall for it. It's almost like playing fetch with a dog, and a dog thinks you're going to throw the ball. The Knicks players tend to do that. And I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of collapses on the defensive end playing against Utah. So first quarter, Knicks scored 31. Utah scored 22. They outscored them in the first. Second quarter, Knicks only scored 19. Utah dropped 30. Third quarter, the Knicks scored 34. Utah 37. Fourth quarter was neck and neck. Knicks scored 29. Utah scored 28. I thought the fourth quarter, the last few minutes, the Knicks were able to climb back into that game, and rightfully so, thanks to Dante DiVincenzo. He was knocking down his threes, um, and we'll crawl back into that later in the game. But to me, a I think there was a few bad decisions I saw on both Brunson and Randall at the end of that game that to me, the Knicks could have won that game. And for some reason, they didn't pass the ball to Dante DiVincenzo. Not sure why, but these are the things that we still scratch our heads about with the Knicks. But was there anything in particular for you that you noticed in that game that maybe had you asking yourself why or how did we get here?
Well, overall, you talking about defensively. They just had a terrible offensive night, man. Um, yeah, he is. And I was gonna talk about that. Like nothing was falling for him for the most part. I mean, it was a struggle, you know, and like you said, Utah like I said, you got to play each game. No game is a guaranteed win. But this
Right.
was a winnable game, and this was a game that they should have won. And unfortunately, they just didn't capitalize. But yeah, again, no ball movement. And they couldn't buy a three if their life depended on it. And like I always say, you live by the three, you die by the three.
Mhm.
Um, but it was. It could have just been, I don't know, the outcome should have been a W. But unfortunately, like I said, it wasn't. Outside of, Randall and DiVincenzo, and Quick, he made his contribution. RJ, man, for a fifth year player, this guy, he has to do better.
Is he regressing, RJ?
Yeah, I think him along with Brunson. I mean, I don't know, something about their play. I don't know if they're playing too passive, and I don't know if Brunson's just been accused of just holding the ball or just, taking too many shots. You never know what's being said behind those closed doors, but he just needs to play his game. We need for you to get back to that all-star caliber from last year. I mean, there's talks about it, but at this rate, his stock is dwindling to me. So, but offensively, they just had a horrible night.
I agree. I thought a lot of the guys struggled shooting offensively. I thought Randall had a pretty good game. I thought Randall dropped 32 points, had 12 rebounds, 6 assists. Brunson had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. DiVincenzo, another one, had a really good game, dropped 21 points, 7 rebounds. RJ
Yeah,
Barrett only finished with 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Quickly had 15 points, and Isaiah Hartenstein had 7.6 6 rebounds. Josh Hart was another one too who he didn't show up for us. And this is my issue with Josh Hart, Grimes. Grimes had a good game the other game, but to me, it didn't call for excitement for me. And I feel like my level of energy is not because I'm tired right now. It's the same level of energy the Knicks is giving on the court. Like I feel like I think I overheard. I was watching Sim and Tony. I didn't get to watch their Losers Lounge episode, but I watched their pregame. And I overheard Sim say that the Knicks are serious. And I think he said teams look at the Knicks because they see they are a contending team. And I do think that he's right in that regard, that the Knicks are one of those teams, like how we say with other teams that are struggling or losing, the Knicks you got to be careful because those teams can end up beating you, and especially against the Knicks, right? But I
yep,
feel like with the Knicks, I feel like more teams have this optimism when they know they're playing the Knicks because they know like they can get the W. Like seriously, all jokes aside, they know that they can get the
yeah,
W
they
against the Knicks
do.
because it's like, who do the Knicks really have that's going to really challenge us? And you see the defensive woes as a team, but you also see where the presence of Mitch is missing and the inside.
Yes,
Um, there's no one there to challenge the paint, guys coming in the paint. But I think even aside from that, because even if Mitch was there, the Knicks as a team don't do a good job guarding their man one on one. We can't even play a zone either, but one on one, especially, the Knicks are just not good defending guys one on one. We leave way too much space on guys. And the problem is, like I saw last night with Utah just was shooting whatever shots they wanted to. And by the
yeah,
time the
yeah,
Knicks put their hands up to challenge a shot, it was too late and you were too far back to even really make it an actual challenge defensively. The Knicks had no inside defensive presence. They had no perimeter defensive presence. I thought that I just the offense looked really stagnant too. Like
yeah,
I didn't really see the ball moving enough. I didn't see guys moving enough. I thought Randall did a good job playing inside. He did shoot some 3-point shots. He was 2 for 6 from the 3-point line. Now Brunson was 0 for 6 from the 3-point line, and he had the damn nerve. And I like Brunson, but I thought to me he should have passed the ball in the fourth quarter. But instead, he decided not once, but twice, I'm going to shoot the 3-point shot. Why? And not saying he's not capable of that, but that just wasn't your night.
yeah,
It
exactly.
wasn't your night to shoot the three. So that's where the decision making, and I blame Brunson for that loss too. It was a collective team effort why I blame them for the loss because it takes all 5 guys and then some. But I blame him and I blame Randall because at that fourth quarter, he passed it to Josh Hart. Why? Why? Josh Hart was 0 for 4 from the three
0 for
point
4. Yes.
when DiVincenzo crawled you guys from down from 12 or maybe 14 back into the game, hitting threes. He was hitting them like they were layups. So why on God's green earth would you pass it to Hart and Jalen Brunson runs down, boop, I'm gonna shoot from the top of the key and shoot the 3-point line. I can't understand it for the life of me. It made absolutely no sense why he thought shooting a 3-point was going to be a good bet for you. Because to be honest, Randall wasn't even that hot either. He was 2 for 6 from the 3-point line. The stats are not lying. I didn't have time to make my slides bigger, but I just RJ Barrett 0 for 7 from the 3-point line.
That's what I said. I said they were atrocious from the 3-point line. Grimes was 0 for 3. Hart 0 for 4. Combined between Brunson, Barrett, Hart, and Grimes, they were 0 for 20.
Wow.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
0 for
This is a
20?
professional league. That can't
Nah.
happen. And the problem I have with that is that they keep shooting from the three
Yeah.
instead of saying, well, let's take our game inside and attack and get these guys in foul trouble. The Knicks don't know how to do that. At this point, the math is not math. And these guys don't know how to drive inside the paint and say, you got to make it like that's where mentally the basketball IQ has to trickle into your brain. And you got to say, well, all right, let's play this game differently now. You know what I mean? Like now that's where the smarts have to trickle in. And these guys just don't do that. They
And
don't
I
do
agree. They did. Sexton's not even a starter,
that.
and he
Right.
just went off. He's a backup. So how
26
you
points.
they did. They allowed Sexton just run amok, and that's what he did. He had his way, and that is you can't fathom. Like they just do the plays. They did like you said, their decision making. It just the it was just horrible to watch that game. It was gut wrenching because this was a game that should have been won. Should have been in the W collar for them. They'd have been sitting at 14.
And what's crazy is as I'm looking at the stats, who they should have been passing that ball to, DiVincenzo and Quickly.
Yeah.
That's who you should have been passing it to. Because let's keep it a buck. Randall played a great inside game, not three
Hmm.
point game. He played a great
Exactly.
inside game.
That's
But in our
yeah.
case, we needed a three. But here's my thing with me saying that too. If Quickly didn't play, you would have been screwed because he gave you an additional 15 points.
Yeah, because this
He
was his
was
first
he
game.
was
Yeah,
3 for 4 from the 3-point line.
yep.
So if he didn't play, that's 15 points you wouldn't have had. Because who was you going to get it from? Not Grimes, not Josh
Not
Hart.
hard. Exactly.
So you needed because Quickly was questionable with the knee
Yeah.
soreness, so he wasn't technically supposed to play. So and RJ Barrett, I'm not understanding what's going on with RJ. I feel like, and I think Queen had asked the question of were we buying, holding, or selling on RJ Barrett?
I mean, I did say I was buying because he showed promise in the beginning, and prematurely I did say that. But in hindsight, I'm gonna have to, mull that over and put him back on not buying. Right now. I'm gonna, have to be sitting there and think this through because RJ should be giving us minimum 20, I
20.
would say 22 minimum.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, give us that. Give me 3 straight, 4 straight games. There, if you don't have that, maybe game 4, game 5. Oh, okay, you had a bad game. But when you're not doing that on a night in and night out game and basis, it's a problem there. If
Yeah,
one shooter bar,
I
J.
agree, Eddie. If with all the poor shooting by RJ, Tibbs kept him in the game, then time for Fournier to start playing. Unfortunately, they're not going to play Fournier
Yeah,
because they don't want Fournier to get hurt. They need to be able to use him as bait to trade him and send him off to another team. Because if they were going to play Fournier, they would have played him already. Somehow they'll
Yeah.
rather even play Grimes, who can't even give you. Actually, he'll give you 2 points. I was going to say he can't give you 2 points, but he'll give you 2 points. But I think there's a lot of, and we went over this a lot in our last episode. The Knicks have a lot of, they have a lot of seasoned vets, but it's a bad recipe. They're missing some seasonings. They got a lot of expired seasonings in the pot, or seasonings that just don't fit. And so if you put all the players that you do play, that they do play in the pot, including the coach, I think you got to just start all over, because it's not a good recipe. It's a recipe for disaster. It's just not it. And this is
No,
not me being negative or me saying, oh, I'm giving up on the Knicks. I'm a true diehard Knicks fan. This ain't it.
but you know what? No, honestly, the Knicks they're guard heavy. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of guards, and they're using them as like backup, like Josh Hart. I don't see him as a true power forward. I just don't.
Same, same.
I mean, they're top heavy with guards, and I think that this is why we need salute Wonder Woman. This is why we need, you know, a big
Yeah.
salute. I mean,
But
yeah. I mean,
who do you bring here? Who are the options?
at this point, I would definitely try to explore. Like you said, try to get a DeRozan. Levine don't want to come to New York. So if you don't want to come and play for us, then guess what? Don't
We don't
come.
want you. Right.
You know. So I would definitely try to, explore somebody like a DeRozan. And if you're gonna get a guard, then get you a shooting guard. Then go after Spider. And
Salute.
and
Duggar.
and they better hurry up and snatch him up before Brooklyn snatch him up.
Yeah. You know what? Parish, and salute to Parish Duggar. I think that's part of the problem too. The issue. I think players have checked out. And it's
Mm,
crazy because the Knicks necessarily aren't like on a losing streak. They're not in a position like a Utah Jazz or um, Memphis, or like
Detroit.
a San Antonio or Detroit, where they only won 2 to 3 games or maybe 6 games. And I could see where that could become so deflating to a player, because you're like, damn, I'm tired of always losing. We can't ever win a game. We can't win like 3, 4 in a row. But I think that I don't know if it was the New York Post, but someone put something to the degree of like, there seems to be some kind of battle or something going on between Randall and Jalen Brunson. And I would love to be a fly on the wall or a towel girl, somebody who I can get the scoop. I couldn't be, because I would be leaking it. Not necessarily video footage, but I'll be coming back here and being like, this is what it is. This is why, you know what I mean? Like they don't really get along. And I don't want to put that out there and people saying, oh, she said that. But I think me and you was touching on this the last episode. I think the problem too is that the Knicks team, they don't play together. It's like every man for themselves. So tonight, Randall gonna have a good night, but there's no supporting cast. Another night is Brunson, but there's no supporting cast. Or another night is Randall and Brunson and RJ. Everybody else just kind of fell back. Because you can't tell me every night when the other supporting cast hasn't come through, it was an off night for them. You're
yeah,
allowed to have some off nights, but it can't be a multitude of games where you're just not coming through and showing up.
yeah,
And this is why I think like a game like yesterday proves why you got to have DiVincenzo starting, because he showed that he can drop the points that you need. That's neither here or there. The switch has been made already with him and Grimes. But I think that there's a lack of chemistry amongst the team as a team playing together. And it's just a lot of individual play. You know what I mean? And then I think with the individual play, you have guys like Randall and Brunson who feel like, well, damn, I don't really have no help. But it's something about the way they play. They don't play together like I see with other teams, and I'll see Randall in a game like I saw where it was one play. I don't know if it was Sims or Hartenstein, and he was like, he like was nodding his head like, nah, get down there. That's all well and good, but I'm talking about the whole game. I'm not talking about a couple of plays here and there. I just think these guys do not play together. I don't care what they're telling us in these press post game and pre game interviews. You're also trained on how to speak to the media, the sports media.
Yeah, you tell
And
them just
after a
what
while, it
they want to
starts to
hear.
sound the same. Tell me something we haven't heard already and keep it real because New
Yeah,
Yorkers, you're not going to fool us. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, I agree. There's no chemistry because if it was, that record would have been, higher than what it is. I mean, chemistry. You can equate chemistry to like the Nuggets, teams that are up there in the standings that are above 500 and that can beat 500 teams, not just teams losing teams, opponents. So then there's no chemistry. And when they're gonna, forge it, who knows? I mean, we're what 20 games in, and are better, and they still haven't developed it. Um, when that will take place, we don't know. Do they need another person? But they should have formed that by now. But see, now you got to have an outsider, come in, and you got to form that. To me, there's a disconnect, with them
Yeah,
on that court.
it is.
I don't know if it's the clash because this is my team, the alpha dog. We don't know, but just by their level of play and
There's a
what they're
huge
showing us and
disconnect.
the outcome, they got to get it together. Um,
Yeah.
so
And it's
yeah.
noticeable, that disconnect.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not just because the Knicks are losing, because even when they win, I still have a lot to say because I'm like, well, and some people may look at it like, damn, what she looking at is what went wrong because there's a lot of room for improvement.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
guys
Yeah.
are not a good team. You're an okay team. Like people, they get on Josh, Uncle Fulio, and sometimes I don't agree what he says, but sometimes I'm like, he has a point when he's like, the Knicks are just an okay team. And that's okay. They are. They're just an okay, mediocre team.
Of
And I'm a
course.
huge diehard Knicks fan, but this team is not it.
Yeah,
And it
and that's
makes you wonder, okay, can the Knicks go on a run like last season? I think the most they won was like 9 games in a row. Can the Knicks contend towards the end of the season, or are they going to lose wind and just give up? And then if they do make the playoffs, are you going to be a first round knockout, or are you going to get to the second round and not make it? Like, a guy's going to be able to stay healthy the whole season? Even when Mitch comes back, like, how does this look for the team moving forward? I just
yeah.
I have all these questions. Parashay, would you bust your butt on defense and Randall just loaves around giving up 25 points a game, not going on a fifth year? Nah. Yeah, I did see Randall loaving a few times. And we spoke about that too on the last game. And then
Yeah,
at one point he was walking up the floor. I don't know. Again, I hate to seem like I'm always pointing a finger at Randall, but it's the body language, it's the tone that I see. He was walking up the floor at one point. I said, was he tired? I said, maybe he's tired.
exactly. Now, case in point, that Toronto game, he was on fire. He even got a tech from why couldn't he carry that over?
Hmm.
See, that's the thing. You don't know which Randall you're gonna get on a night in, night out basis.
Right.
You're gonna get the Randall that's gonna hustle, that's gonna give you 35 or 40, or you're just gonna get the mediocre Randall that, 25. I made my, I got my points. No, it's not about the individual. It's collectively as a team. So that's what Randall should be giving us more. Same thing with RJ. You know, he's just not there, and for whatever reason, is it still the migraines? It can be. You know what I'm saying? You got at some point you got to put the excuses away and just play.
Right.
Together with those three, they should be putting. A case in point, it was although they lost to a losing effort, but KD the Suns they had like
Loss.
75 or something. Yeah, they lost to Brooklyn, but still they put the effort in.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn was just a better team. And they played, speaking of, they play the Suns tomorrow. So can they, mirror what Brooklyn did and, take that W? They did lose at the Garden. So that's what I'm saying. Like collectively, these guys should be giving us 75 to 80 points. They should be given a three quarters of the point, not a quarter. Yeah, it's just frustrating, man, with them because they should be given more.
Yeah.
And together they're not because again, that's lack of chemistry, playing just so selfish, and playing individual ball.
Yeah. I think
So
part of it, and Randall did have a double double. He did have 32 points, 12 boards, 6 assists. And he's been playing well, giving the Knicks what they need. But I think what separates a player like Randall from a player like Halliburton or maybe Jimmy Butler, um, and I can name a few more, but we're not going to go down deep down a rabbit hole of good players. What makes Randall different from like the really, or like a Devin Booker, KD, what makes him different from players like that or SGA? See, now they're coming to my brain. What makes Randall different from those players, and I'll even throw Brunson in that category. What separates them from those players, it's not that Randall and Brunson isn't good, but they're not to that level of I can get the ball in my hands. I'm going to execute. I'm going to stay composed, and I'm going to win us this game. Because those guys know how to get you that win, and they can get the ball in their hand with a few seconds left. And I'm not even talking about if it comes down to the wire of a last second shot game. I'm saying that those last 5 minutes or 6 minutes, however many minutes left in the fourth quarter, kind of like what DiVincenzo did last night. But I'm talking about if you have multiple games throughout a season of an 82, 83 game season of an NBA season, a great player can get that ball in his hands and he's going to do what he needs to do and make the right plays and get that team that win. And, you're going to be watching as a fan and commentators like, holy crap, like this guy, he just went off. And sometimes players could do it quietly. Like, even a few times I seen when the Knicks played Boston, Jason Tatum, he stays very composed, but
yeah,
he will crawl Boston back into that game in that fourth quarter and just lights out and go off. And here's my thing. I've never really seen Randall, maybe Brunson, I've seen it a few handful of
yeah.
times, but
Brunson has
Brunson,
done it
yes,
before.
he's done it.
He's
But
done it.
but Randall, I haven't seen Randall say, yo, I'm gonna put this team on my back right now. And I'm gonna get us this W. I have not seen that from him. And again, a part of it is like I got the devil and angel Nick show devils on my shoulder saying, like, Well, of course he's not, because didn't he say he's not trying to be the number one option? He's okay with being the number two or three option on the team. So maybe that's why he doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's why he says, I'm not going to take the ball and carry the team on my back. But wouldn't it be nice if he did that? And I think that's part of what the Knicks are missing. The Knicks need a true leader, not just a superstar, but a guy who can really carry the team on their back and get you that W when you need it. And the Knicks don't have that. And the only guy they do have that, again, I've seen a handful of times, is Jalen Brunson, where he'll do everything in his power to get them that W back in that game. But I don't see where Randall, who, okay, you're the second option. So in a game like last night against Utah, I wanted to see him do that and
Take
display
over.
that I'm a take over the game mentality. And I wanted to see it in his physicality, the body language, and I wanted to see it on the floor, and I didn't see that. So that's where I'm like, well, why do we have you here for if you're not going to do those kind of things for us? This is what I mean. Like, we're wasting time. And then Tibbs was with that stupid clipboard in his hand, looking like he's drawing up a play that was probably scribble scrabble. Because this is like, come on, how many times have we seen where it's come down to the wire and we're like, what kind of play was that? What
Oh
kind of
yeah,
play
yeah,
was that?
yeah,
Scribble scrabble. That's what he
a,
did on the freaking stupid clipboard.
a waste of possession. Yeah. Well, I mean, even to RJ's credit, um, he's a fifth year player, and Twitter's like, got this thing. Is it time to start worrying about RJ Barrett? I mean, to me, yes,
Yeah.
because we don't need for you to get it together and do it after the All-Star break. You got to make a statement now, and the whole team does, really, not just RJ. So yeah, I think it's time to worry. You know?
Yeah. I think with RJ, he's too streaky. He has these highs and lows also. And I'm not sure what that's about. You can't be like, I'm gonna have 2 good months of ball playing, and then I'm gonna go cold for a month or two, or a month and a half, and then I'm gonna pick it back up and give you what you need. And then, I don't know what that is about RJ. He's very up and down. He's very,
Yeah.
very streaky, and you don't know what you're gonna get from that guy sometimes.
Well,
And that's a big problem with him. Especially since Brunson is hurt. That ankle got him a step slow and off balance with his shot. Yeah, I think that's part of it with Brunson. And I think it's
yeah,
part of it is frustrations. I think because it's like we're talking about the disconnect on the floor. I think Brunson, like a DiVincenzo, has that basketball IQ, right? Now, Brunson should know, he should know better, one. And then two, you should learn from what you did last year in the playoffs against Miami when you didn't pass Josh Hart the ball. Now he did it last night in Utah, but Josh Hart wasn't the guy that we needed you to pass the ball to. You should have passed it to DiVincenzo. And if I'm not mistaken, DiVincenzo was open up in the corner. So they weren't triple double teaming Brunson where you couldn't make that pass. And actually,
hmm
the Knicks got 2 chances to shoot the shot and couldn't make it. And again, this goes back to what I was just saying. The Knicks don't have guys who could close out those games for them. Who do we have
yeah.
that you can be like, yo, he gonna knock down that three? I feel confident when he get that ball in those last few seconds, we either going to overtime or we gonna get this win right now. We don't have that on the team.
No, we don't. We need that guy that's gonna again carry that team. A good coach will call Brunson and Randall aside and address them, as leaders of the team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think that both Brunson and Randall need to figure it out, because everyone knows that both of those guys can give you 25 to 45 points. We know that you could score, but that's not going to win you games. because you both have proven that you can do 35, 40, 45,
and it's a
25, and
losing
10,
effort.
and you lose, right? So
Mhm.
again, it goes back to what I was saying. They're not playing like a team. That's why you guys are not winning. Because you're playing individual playing ball. Brunson and Randall need to figure it out because whatever's going on is contagious. Everybody else feels it on the team. And when no one is showing leadership, people are just out there freeballing. It's pickup at the local YMCA, just playing a different state each night. Pickup game. Hey, yo, you want to play? And actually, speaking of pickup, we picked up a little trash when the Knicks decided they want to get Taj Gibson. Listen, I'm calling a spade a spade. And you said it in the text when you text me. Out of
Don't-
all the bigs, you went to where was Taj at anyway? Home?
I think so.
So you mean to tell me Carmelo Anthony's phone must don't work?
He's
His phone,
retired.
Carmelo Anthony would have came if they called him.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he
Melo,
would have. Melo would
Melo.
have came. He'd been like, "Yo, I'm about to suit up right now. I'm gonna put on my shorts and my jersey." I guess his phone don't work though.
No, but there was a few bigs that they could have possibly looked at and explored. Um, but that's Tibbs is Taj is Tibbs man. You know that. Yeah,
No.
he don't.
When the Knicks play great teams, somehow Randall doesn't do well. And I have noticed that. I have
Yeah,
noticed that somehow, I don't know what it is. Somehow Randall doesn't do well against better playing teams. Usually it's Brunson that does really well.
yeah, yeah. It is.
And, I think I saw someone in the chat said RJ tends to step it up in the playoffs or when we play against better teams, but it's the consistency that I think we both can agree on is what is missing with RJ.
Yeah.
We can't have you turn up just, just period. 9 points is not going to cut it. And Josh Hart not
No.
scoring any points is not going to cut it. They gave you a check.
Yeah, you the $81 man. You should be scoring 81 a night. I mean, but yeah. And then, we're 2 months in. Like when are you gonna get it together? And Brunson does it, and he does. Yeah, he does. He turns it up a notch in the playoffs. Unfortunately, too bad we can't get those guys now to turn it on and make a statement. Quite frankly, the Knicks they're not taking serious. Definitely, by those broadcasters. Um,
Mm-mm.
they're like jokes. To
Yeah,
be
they are.
honest with you, I don't know what they're hearing, but they're like the
Right.
jokes of every sportscaster's talk really,
Yeah.
because there's you. How can you take them serious if they're losing to teams like the Jazz? Yeah, they beat the Spurs in Detroit, but you got a tough schedule ahead of you.
Right. Right. And you ever notice when um whether it's ESPN, NBA on TNT, NBA TV, when they play highlights of other teams, they always play the highlights of them playing against the Knicks.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I watch, notice that when they showing highlights, not necessarily of that particular game, but when they're showing highlights of a specific player or how a team played, notice they always play it against the Knicks because the Knicks allow players to do crazy monster dunks, a crazy crossover, teams hitting an unheard number of threes in a game. They always play the highlights against the Knicks.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think it's like what you said. I think around the league, the Knicks are just not respected. They're not taken seriously.
yeah. No, they're not. Yeah, Eddie Mello would have tied the game. Yep, he certainly would have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He would have I would have felt comfortable with him making the shot. But that's what I'm saying. The Knicks don't have that. Yeah, because the problem is Brunson does the Knicks don't really have anybody else to bring up the ball. I mean, sure you have Quickly, but Quickly's in they want Quickly coming off the bench. And that's another problem. I just think the Knicks are not a well balanced team with the makeup of the players that we have. It's not a well balanced team. This is
yeah,
why I'm saying, like in the off season, they have to make changes. This is a business. You got to cut the emotional ties, or we gave this guy money to like make it make sense and make it a well balanced team. Because I look at a lot of teams throughout the league and I'm like, wow, that's a pretty well balanced team that they have there. And the Knicks are just not a well balanced team overall, where it makes sense who we have on the floor. You know, you have guys that can, you know, I just think that also too, we don't have guys who could create for their own. They have that hunger to want to get to the basket and score. And I'm talking about using simple moves on the floor. I'm not asking you to go out there and give us all these globetrotter tricks to get to score a basket, but they just don't have that. But yeah, I think Brunson is he's tired. He played FIBA. He went right from last season, played FIBA, came into this season. He
yeah.
started off hot. But I think Brunson, it would be nice if they got like Spider, because now Brunson don't have to worry about bringing the ball up, and now he can get the ball
Exactly.
passed to him. Him and Spider could piggyback off of each other, and maybe one bring the ball up one time, and then he passes it off to guys and be the facilitator. The other one brings the ball up, the next time, and be the facilitator and pass the ball around. And the Knicks just he needs that because he could be an asset to the Knicks, Brunson, if he's able to get not have to bring the ball down every time, and then he can get the ball passed to him and he can make shots for us. And he's a mid-range guy, so he does well making those mid-range shots or creating for his own. When you got to bring the ball up and I got to do some moves down low, that's
Yeah,
exhausting.
and Brunson could be playing hurt. You know, he's
Yeah,
certainly not 100%. I mean, even though he had those few days of rest, I don't believe he's at 100%.
no,
You know, so rest will do him good, and he needs somebody to, like you said, to bring the ball up. It'll take a whole lot of pressure off him.
hmm
It'll make the offense run a whole lot smoother. And you don't have to run through him. You got another option.
yeah,
Gus Nick's exhausted. Yeah, yeah, and and he plays a lot of minutes too.
yeah,
Just be
yeah. Tibbs do be tipping. I don't know what he be doing out there.
yeah.
The Knicks did sign Taj Gibson to a 1 year deal. It's a non-guarantee deal for the rest of the season. How do you feel about that? Your thoughts on that?
Well, like when I text you, I said there was other guys that for whatever reason they could have looked at. I said Nerlin. Um, who else was the other guy? I said oh, Favors. And it was somebody else. You know, he's no Mitch. By no stretch of the imagination. He does have a little, mid range. He could shoot the three. So, I guess in the aspect that he's looking at, just the re rebound purposes and maybe give you maybe 6 points or whatever. But again, why he went after Taj when there was a lot of other guys that were available. I mean, I don't have any feelings one way or the other because hey, I guess he's just a filler.
So we signed Taj
Yeah.
Gibson, a 39-year-old, to take minutes from Sims.
Yeah. Well, and that's my only downside because yeah, like Sims, he if he don't get the reps, how are you expecting him to get better and to
Exactly.
grow and develop? And
Hmm.
he's only gonna get better by playing. Yeah, he practiced, okay, but they play against other opponents. Their style. He's not gonna get better sitting on the bench. So I'm hoping, he continue to start Sims. Let Taj be the third option.
Right.
I just hope he don't have him starting over Sims, man.
Yeah, I
That's my
agree.
only. Sims will get better the more he plays, running up and down, posting up on plays, banging with the bigs. He has no other choice but to get better. So
Right.
that's my only feeling with that signing with Taj. I hope that he doesn't take minutes from Sims, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not I don't know. I'm not thrilled about that whole signing of Taj Gibson. To me, I never was impressed with Taj when he was on the Knicks originally. To me, he was just a body there. I'm just being honest. Like he never did anything to me that was like I was like, wow, this guy is good. Oh. And I agree with you. I think you should let Sims get the minutes and get the time and have Taj come in off the bench or Taj be Hartenstein's backup rather. Because
Yeah.
to me, Hartenstein has earned the time. He's put in the time there, but I just think that to me, Sims is way more, he's in better shape.
Yeah, well, he's younger,
He's
he's quicker,
stronger,
he's
right? He's quicker,
faster. Yeah.
right? And I just feel
So,
like I don't know. Taj Gibson to me, I don't know what made Tibbs called him up like that was one of his cousins or something like that. You know how he feels about his guys, but Taj career average is 8.7 points, 5.9 rebounds.
yeah, there ain't nothing to, do cartwheels about, you know? Yeah,
I
well,
just
well, we'll see. They play tomorrow, and I'm quite sure, he'll be suited up, and he probably won't play for the most part, but he should be with that at that Phoenix game. Um, I had a question. About Mitch, being that he's injured, how do you think that's gonna like impact his like his bid for defensive player of the year run? If when he comes back, will he be back to form or what? And you know,
I think that's kind of tough because we don't know. I think once he does come back and we see how he plays, it'll be a little easier to determine that.
hmm
Um, Unfortunately, I think Mitch would be more of a candidate than somebody who would actually win that award. Just because I don't see them giving that to Mitch.
yeah,
I think he does great defensively, but I just ultimately don't see him actually winning that. But I think it's hard to tell now. I think once we see when Mitchell Robinson gets back and see how he's running and if he has that bounce and he's able to, play with the aggression that he normally plays and, he's coming out full fledged and, great. But that's going to be really key because the Knicks are going to need him down the long haul of the season. And
yeah,
I I think, forget all of that accolades. He needs to just worry about coming back, with full strength, come back ready to comp, go win against teams and battle. And I hope he comes back strong and healthy and his ankle is fine because that's tough. You going through a whole surgery, then you have to rehab and come back because we're still in the midst of a season for any player.
yeah,
So, I don't know. I don't think that I think Mitch name will be mentioned. he'll be one of the guys that'll be probably like in the runnings for the votes, but I
But
just don't
he's
see him winning the Defensive Player of the Year award.
yeah, no, I don't either. It's just gonna he'll probably just get an honorable mention for the most part.
Taj need retirement money. He probably do. He probably do because it's no way. I
Mm,
mean, for the life of me, that move to me was very desperate. It was desperate.
yeah, because there's a
Like,
lot of bigs that are younger and it could have, given you more, it's the same if not more
yeah,
than
Taj
what
is not even an offensive threat. So you just replace somebody who didn't have offensive presence with somebody who doesn't have offensive presence. Gotta love it. Typical New York move. I mean, I didn't understand that. When I saw that, I was like, but why did the Knicks go with Taj out of all the players around the league?
yeah, I'm baffled with
But
that
that's
one
part of the
myself. But
front office problem. The Knicks don't recruit well. Notice how
yeah,
other good guys, good
okay.
players go to other
Let me turn my
teams
camera off, right, please.
and the Knicks don't seem to get them, which is like mind boggling to me. Why the Knicks can't recruit good players to be an asset on the team for the Knicks is just yeah, I don't know. Maybe Taj. I know that's one of Tibbs' boys, and Tibbs loved Taj because he loves him for his defensive presence. And but I don't know. I don't see it. King Ribby said, "Y'all are not being fair." How? Mitch always early fouls. Must learn to play smart. But so does Hartenstein. Well, Hartenstein
Yeah,
gets in foul trouble.
they're both foul prone, foul trouble prone, but
Yeah, yeah.
that comes with the nature of it, but with at least with Mitch, like I said, yeah, he doesn't have, an outside game, but it's the other intangibles that he does.
Hmm.
Just his defensive presence. And then, offensively, he does, give the Knicks, those second opportunities. So with Mitch, I see the upsides, to him. Is there a lot of better centers out there? Yeah, that can give you, a defense and offense, as far as scoring. But you know, it's Hartenstein, he gets in foul trouble too,
Hmm.
you know?
But are the Knicks able to eventually connect and gel with each other? Or is these issues going to continue throughout the season? Like, can you see them being able to like come together and play together? Because we saw a bit of that last year late in the season.
And that's what I was getting ready to say.
But is that
They
gonna are they gonna get back to that, or are we gonna still see this individual, maybe that sprinkle of 1 or 2 games where we see like, oh snap, they're playing together, or is it gonna continue like this?
nope, that's when they're gonna make that push. And when they realize, okay, well, we're falling deep into the standards, and they're gonna try to make a push for it, like they did last year, which is asinine because you're capable and you're a decent team to pull yourself out. But why wait until that moment? To me, like, do it now.
Right.
I mean, I think they will, and I think they're just gonna wait until like that that last, second, or make to the All-Star. Now they're gonna click and gel, which they should have been at that phase by now. What's this? They what we at 22 games?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just frustrating with the Knicks.
Yeah. I think the Knicks need to be able to make a way to play together. Because I think if they keep continuing to play the way they're playing,
Hmm.
they're not gonna be good. And I think I had the Knicks at 50 wins. At the rate they're playing now, I don't see that happening because
No,
you
no,
can't even beat teams like Utah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
almost didn't beat Detroit.
Eh, yeah. And
Washington
then
has you on your heels. And the Knicks don't know how to close out games. They don't know how to keep a lead and maintain a lead. And they truly don't know how to close out games against teams. And even if the Knicks do have a lead, we've seen the Knicks have a 20-point lead. And somehow teams come back and you know, you you go get in the shower real quick. You come turn on to the TV and you're like, yo, how are the Knicks only up by 6 points?
yep. Or the team came back and took the lead, and now
Yeah.
you're trading baskets.
Yeah.
They're famous for that. Yeah, Randall and Brunson. No, they can't. They cannot play together. Yeah, in the long term, one
But who
must go
must
away,
go?
and I agree. It's Randall. Hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Randall in a heartbeat.
I think you and I were talking about this the last episode. I think the Knicks have to do one of their main focuses in the offseason is the Knicks need to find a way to bring the right players in around Brunson.
Yeah,
Because I think ultimately, I'm not saying Brunson is a superstar, but I think that Brunson needs the right guys around him that will make for a better team collectively. I think, and as much as I like Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, he's still new. So I'm like, I'm going to hold off on him right now because I may want to keep him. This guy could shoot,
yeah,
he
he
could
can.
actually make shots. So I'm going to keep DiVincenzo. But Josh Hart, I don't feel like there's a pressure on him to have to step up and perform every night. You made your comments about not um, fitting into the offense and adjusting into how he had to play better. Cool. You came back following 2, 3 games. You played well. But I think that Josh Hart, he's another one is streaky with him,
Yeah.
and you don't know what you're gonna get from him points wise. You may, and then there's games where he just doesn't give you anything. He may give you if it's 6 rebounds and then you don't get no points, no assists, no nothing. So I just think that I think the Knicks front office needs to do a really deep dive this off season and bringing guys in. You got to eliminate what we have now,
Oh yeah,
cut
for
a lot
sure.
of, make space, and they need to bring in the right fits for the team who are going to be a good fit to play around Brunson. And I agree. I think Randall should be the one to go. And it's not, yes, I think the Knicks do need Randall because Randall does, he's able to give us the points that we need and he keeps us in games. But I think the flip side of that is that sometimes with Randall, outside of the good play, right, and him being a good player, it's this like it's this lack of morale. It's like a black cloud. It's a dark cloud that he brings to the team. And I think when you have somebody like that, like if I'm a player and there's a teammate like that on my team, it's infectious. It carries through the locker room. It carries through the practice. It carries when you're on a plane traveling because you almost like, damn, I should I say something to him? You don't want to say nothing to him because he looks like he's gonna, snap or like he just don't want to hear it or he don't care. So I just think that the front office has to make some solid, serious decisions and figure out who to bring into this team. So one, you also keep Jalen Brunson, who took a pay cut, happy and wants to stick around. And I think that we need better shooting guards, not 1,000 guards, but better shooting guards. The
Yeah.
Knicks need a better solid center. And to be honest, Tibbs could go too if you wanna ask me. Because the reason why I say that, and I thought about this earlier, do you think that if the Knicks had a different coach, the Knicks would be coached better with the players that they have now? and they would be playing better. If they had a different coach with who they have now, would the Knicks be playing better as a team and winning games? And I'm not saying, oh, they would have had a record like Orlando or Milwaukee or Boston, but do you think that with a different coach, the Knicks would be coached differently and it would be a better team?
Oh yeah, they would definitely be coached differently because um like Tibbs, he's so stuck on, the defense, but if your offense is not flowing and it's not seamless, then you know, and teams are scoring off of you. What good is the defense if you can't hold your opponents to X, Y, and Z? And they do maybe they do need a change in scenery as far as coaches. As somebody said, they seem to be checked out, with Tibbs. I don't. Is it things in the locker room? Just on the floor in general. Like they just again not gelling and not clicking. That's what my bird's eye view. But yeah, I think they do need a change in the coach, and they will. I hopefully respond to another coaching system.
Yeah, I think also one of the things too is that I think a true coach is gonna keep it real with players. I don't care if this is the NBA and you've made it and you're getting
Hmm.
paid millions. And the reason why I say that is because if I was the coach and I see certain players, case in point, Grimes, even Mitch, right? And it's the end of the season, I'm gonna pull that guy to the side. I'm gonna be like, listen, I really need you to get some trainers in the off season. I need you to work on your game. You gotta work on your shot, work on, developing some kind of handle to your game. I'm using Grimes as
Hmm.
an example. I would like to see you drive more to the basket.
Closing games.
You have the money to pay for training, to pay for trainers. You know what I mean? So I just think that like you have to call players out, just like when Tibbs did that with Randall. He was like, you got too heavy, you got to lose some weight. But I think you
Hmm.
have to call players out also and let them know, like, yo,
Yeah,
you got to do the work in the off season because this
hold
season
them
you're doing
accountable.
that. Right. Exactly. The accountability has to be there. It's a two-way street.
Mm,
So, but I do think that Tibbs is stuck in this old school style of coaching. And Tibbs, it hurts us in some regards. Like I think you was mentioning how he had kept Brunson in longer the last game, longer than what he needed to. And I don't get the mentality sometimes with Tibbs and why
yeah.
he makes the decisions that he does. And yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
you're the head coach, but sometimes it's like, but why, man? Why? So
Yeah.
I think the Knicks have to make a change there too with Tibbs. Unfortunately, we have another year we're stuck with him. But I think that the Knicks have to seriously make some changes.
Yeah, that third quarter, I know we fall flat,
Every
and that's
time.
that's another thing. Like we fall flat every third quarter, and like Eddie said, closing games. Like he has to come up with another exit plan because what he has going on is not doing it for the Knicks.
Yeah,
Yeah, too much faith. Yep, he is. Tibbs is he does. That's why he bought back Taj.
exactly.
Taj is his boy. So there's favoritism right there. If he could bring back Rose, he probably would.
We need vets. What vets, though, are available
Yeah, trying to. Hmm.
or that will want to come to the Knicks? I think Kareem Grant said absolutely, but what other coaches are available? Listen, you know, what kind of coach the Knicks need? They need like hoodie blazer. aka Becky Hammond, because she always wear a hoodie with a blazer, or like a they need like a Dawn Stanley type coach. And I'm not saying just it being a female coach; it could be a male coach, but they need a coach who is like, you're not gonna just go out there and do what you're gonna do. Like you're gonna, this is what I set up and the system that I have in place. This is how I want the plays ran. And if you're not gonna do that, you're on the bench. And I just think that you can't just have like a lot of these coaches get paid millions and they get tied. Like, look at Monty Williams with that huge contract with Detroit, but they can't even win a game.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't care what you did as a coach on other teams. I care about what you could do to carry the team to, because ultimately that's the goal of every team, NBA organization. You want to be able to win a championship. That's the goal. The Knicks haven't won a championship since the 70s.
In 73, yeah.
73.
Mm,
So, Tibbs, I will say he has done great things in his tenure with the Knicks, in that the Knicks did become a better team, like stat wise, compared to where they were before he got there. But you and I was talking about this before. To me, the last good team the Knicks had was when they was coached under Woodson, and we had, I don't even know, was Stoudemire still there when it was Rasheed Wallace, Kurt Thomas, Jason Kidd. Was he playing on that team or he came after?
he came
I can't
after
remember.
who started mine?
Okay,
Yeah.
I think he did.
Mhm.
He came after. That was the last great team that we had, because they did make the playoffs.
Yeah. And
And that was
yeah.
because we had veteran experience. That was a veteran led team. That's why. But also they don't make players like that anymore in the league, unfortunately.
And speaking of coaches, there's a few out there available. I
Like
mean,
who?
although Doc is he's an analyst, but I mean he tried that before he was a coach. But there's the Bucks old coach. What was his name?
Budenholzer?
Butenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, remember
Oh yeah, because
he's
they
out.
fired him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
good
I
point.
mean, but he brought them to a championship though
Mhm.
also.
Right.
So you got to take that
I
into
don't know about Doc,
consideration.
because Doc's teams, they make the playoffs, but they don't get to the chip.
Yeah, well,
He
that's
tends to
another
fall, his
story.
teams fall short. And
Yeah, well,
it was somebody else that came to my head when you mentioned Budenholzer. I can't think of who right now, but yeah, I don't. Oh, I was thinking of, but of course he's red listed. Um, Mark
Jackson.
Mark
Oh
Jackson.
yeah, yeah.
Somebody has him on the red list in the NBA, and especially the Knicks organization. They don't want him nowhere near a team.
And then the other guy, but he's an analyst too. Van Gundy, not Jeff.
Mhm.
His
Stan.
his, yeah, Stan. Yeah, I mean, so there's people that they could possibly look in, because Tibbs he's just not it, man. His style is 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 old. Is you know there's Dwayne Casey. He coached. I forgot.
He was just wasn't he just coaching Detroit though?
Yeah, but they got Monty Williams, so he's
I
not
know, but that's what I'm
coaching.
saying, and
Yeah.
that didn't work out for him.
Yeah, too.
So
Well,
no. And you know what's crazy? Diva Locks was just saying that Kareem Grant the last episode. Weren't we saying how the Knicks, and I think you pointed out, they were third in defensive ranking and now they slipped to like 12th or 13th. And for Tibbs to be such a defensive minded coach, it doesn't show when you watch Knicks games. Where's the
yeah.
defense? The Knicks are horrible defensively. It doesn't show when you watch them. Defense where?
Yeah, that's his mantra.
The 8-man rotation is stupid. All it does is burn players out and makes others tune out. I agree with that. I don't like that like stupid 8, 9 man rotation. It is stupid,
Yeah,
Parish. I don't like it.
you got 15 players on your roster. What?
And you use it as just a core group of guys. Why? And you be surprised because I'm just hypothetically like if Jacob Toppin was on that bench, give him a little burn out there. You be surprised what he may show you what he can do.
And
But you
he's
got
killing it
guys
in the
warming
G
up
League too.
seats. Yeah, I don't get it. So I'm saying the Knicks got to open up a put some job boards out there on Indeed and on the NBA website because the recruiting is trash. It's trash. Doc is another Tibbs. Yeah, Doc's teams they're only good to make the playoffs, but they don't get far. They may make the second round, and then Doc is just
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I agree. I was just throwing names out there, but yeah, I said that's as in 3/4 plays that should be good.
Randall is the fakest oldest that acts childish. Tibbs babies him. He needs to start holding everyone accountable. Yeah, Tibbs
Yeah.
doesn't hold guys accountable. And I think that's the
Hmm.
problem. You can't think just because Randall is your top guy that you can't call him out, that you can't pull him to the side and say, hey, we know you could score 30. We know you could score 40. But guess what? We're still not winning. I think he needs to pull him and Brunson aside and be like, this is not working.
Yeah, yeah, figure it out, you know.
Kareem said, what do you think about Jay Wright since we already have the rest of the Wildcats? Jay Wright from who's Jay Wright? You know Jay Wright?
No, no, from Villanova.
Oh,
Well, if that's the case, you could go after Bridges.
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of iffy on that too. I just think that we don't.
Was he the coach, Jay Wright? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, but is he well he's hasn't he has he I don't think he's not he's still college though. Mm. Oh, to bring back their college coach, hey, you never know.
Right.
Anybody at this point except Tibbs. I think Tibbs need to go. I'm calling for his firing.
Yeah, it's just it's not it. And again, I don't think the Knicks necessarily need a superstar on the team. I think that we need a better makeup of the team that we have now. I think who we have now, it's not working out. Between who we have now and keeping Tibbs around is not working out now. King Census 718. Salute to you both. What do you think about IQ and Hart switching out with RJ and Dante going to the bench? Keep doing your thing. I enjoy listening to y'all convo on our Knicks. Salute King Census 718.
The Luke King said, mm, huh. Well, but Dante's playing good. Me, I would keep him. I like his play. It's RJ that's regressed for me.
Agreed.
You
Agreed.
know,
Yeah, I wouldn't send Dante to the bench personally, just because I mean if you want to keep it 100. He's actually one of their like top shooters outside of right now, Randall, who's actually knocking down the shots on a consistent basis. Um, and at a IQ and Hart, IQ is more consistent than Hart. Josh
Yeah.
Hart is like RJ. I would say Hart and RJ need to go to the bench, and IQ needs to go switch out with RJ. That's what I would do. I would put Emmanuel quickly to start because minus maybe 4 games now. Quickly's been way more consistent than RJ.
Yeah. Because Dante he could be a small forward
Hmm.
and turn IQ into the shooting guard. Hey,
Right. And also quickly could help bring the ball up.
exactly.
If let's just say teams are doubling Brunson or defending him at the other end of the court, putting that pressure defense on him,
Yeah, yeah.
quickly could help bring up the ball. But I just think Hart and RJ need to come off the bench. I mean, Hart's already doing that, but yeah, RJ, maybe he do need to come off the bench with Grimes. I don't know why, for the life of me. And this is the problem where we go back to Tibbs. He's so used to playing the guys he's so used to playing and his set rotation. He doesn't take risk. He
Yeah.
doesn't like to switch it up. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you mean to tell me you can't have quickly starting? I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
I
he's
just I
so
don't understand
predictable.
it. Yeah. Randall probably get Tibbs fired. I don't know. Tibbs' old fashioned ways ran off Reddish, Obi, disrespectful to Kemba and Fournier. No matter how good or bad guy plays, you gotta respect the player's career. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Reddish and Obi, I think both have gone to their respective teams and they actually get playing time now. So it kind of makes you do look at Tibbs like it was Tibbs because they're
Yeah,
on other teams and they're getting burned and they're doing pretty decent on
and
those
they're
teams.
flourishing. Yep.
Right.
That
Now,
is yeah.
Kemba, I don't know. I think the Knicks organization had these big high hopes for both Kemba and Fournier, and they both underperformed, especially Kemba Walker. I think to me, he was just okay. He wasn't the old Kemba Walker that we know from
Yeah.
previous teams. So when he got to the
Mm-hmm.
Knicks, to me, he just was out of gas. It just wasn't the premium we thought we was going to get from him as a player. And Fournier, I thought while Fournier was able to run shots, I do partially put that blame on Tibbs because I don't think Tibbs ran the plays offensively to get Fournier the open shots that he needed to make the shots. And Tibbs tends to do that with a lot of our shooting guards. I don't see plays ran around them so that they're open. You could pass them the ball and, they can make their shot that they need to make. Um, and then when Fournier, unfortunately, him and Obi made the comments, Obi wanted out, but Fournier, they officially, I guess, said they're done with him and didn't want anything to do with Fournier. But yeah,
But again, that comes from favoritism. You
yeah,
know, if you're on the short list for Tibbs and you're not gonna, he's gonna either send you packing or have you sitting on that bench, turn you to a cheerleader. It's a shame because these are guys' livelihoods that you're messing with.
right.
Um, so I don't know. That's why the front office don't, hold Tibbs accountable.
Hmm. Yeah,
Just
I
like the
agree.
players need to be held accountable. They don't do the same thing for him. Yeah, RJ provides height.
Yeah, he does. I mean, and RJ's defense isn't horrible. Um,
He's just
but
aggressive, huh?
my thing is like, yeah, you start, but it's also how you finish. I mean,
Mm.
I just King Ribby says so. Three starting will be 6-1, 6-3, 6-4. But that's also a Knicks front office problem. It's
And that's why I also said we so guard heavy.
unhappy. Yeah.
Like we're loaded with these guards that we don't have length and height. The Knicks just lack that. And
Hmm.
this is, that's a problem. Also, you're getting outplayed, out muscled, outscored. And so again, this is why they need to explore. Oh yeah, Kemba's knees buckle. This is why they need to explore. Somebody like a DeRozan. Although Bojan, they can't. He's not budging from Detroit. They're not even thinking
Yeah.
about moving him. So this is what we're working with.
But
Yeah,
I
you.
think that's the problem too. The Knicks don't have solid shooters. And the problem is sometimes the Knicks have these games where, like last night's game in Utah, guys just can't knock down shots. This is a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, is it too early to raise concerns? Or are you like, I'm still holding off? Or are you waiting
No,
to after this road trip to see how they do?
yeah, okay, that's a fair one. I'll wait till after that road trip. Well, actually, they don't come back to the Garden until the 23rd. So, they got, Phoenix, LA, with the Clippers rather, the Lakers, and then they got Brooklyn. That's when they come back on the 23rd. So they got four more road games. Um, you know, I'll wait and see to how they do over the road. You know, are they winnable? Yes, but w- they gotta play. Stop playing selfish ball and individual ball. What's your take on it? Oh yeah, Tibbs cut Roby. We need his. Yep. Again,
Yeah.
there's somebody with size.
Obi Toppin was drafted for Randall to go, but Tibbs said, hell nah, I'm not rebuilding. I want to win now before I retire.
You won't win, buddy. Not with that roster.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Obi showed signs of being like showing good plays and that he was good, but sometimes there was times, and I know like Quickly's done this too, where Obi shot. Remember, he used to shoot those corner threes and they would go
Oh
over the
yeah.
basket
Hmm.
or they were air balls. He would shoot the threes sometimes and they were air balls. And I was like, what's going on? Like, how are you shooting an air ball like that? I didn't understand that. But I don't know. The Knicks, they play Phoenix tomorrow, Friday night Knicks. Phoenix Suns are sitting at 13 and 11, so their record is very close to the Knicks. Brooklyn's sitting at 13 and 10. Phoenix just lost to Brooklyn 112, 116. Um, in that game, Devin Booker had 34 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds. Kevin Durant dropped 27 points. Nurkic had 15 points, 22 rebounds. Bradley Beal had 14 points. Metu had 8 points, 4 boards. Um, and then Little had 10.7 boards. Um, for Brooklyn, Cam Thomas had 24 points. Miles Bridges had 21. Mikal Bridges had 21. Dinwiddie has 16 and 8 rebounds. Johnson had 15 and 5 rebounds. And Claxton had 14.7 boards. But the fact that Nurkic had 22 boards is making me wonder, what are the Knicks going to do on the defensive and offensive boards playing against Phoenix? Also, what are the Knicks going to do guarding the perimeter? Because Phoenix is one of those teams, and okay, and now this game they're going to have Durant. The last game we just had Booker to worry about.
Yeah.
And is Randall going to show up and have a great game as he's had these past few games? Or is his light gonna dim and we're not gonna get much from him in tomorrow's game? So I'm really curious to see how that game goes, because I think defensively the Knicks have definitely collapsed and have been struggling with their woes on the defensive end. I think the Knicks have to definitely come through with the grabbing their rebounds. And again, they have to figure out how to be able to gel and play together. Somehow
Yeah,
these
yeah.
guys just don't know how to do that.
And then Watt Gordon didn't play the other day, but he may be back tomorrow. It seems like everybody, circle the Knicks when they come to town, or when the Knicks come to their court. You know, again, so I'm gonna definitely need for RJ to step up for sure. He has to just give us more. Um, Grimes, same thing. You went to, yeah, you had those first, what, the two games when you came up the bench, but it's no, this is no time to fade and continue, that outpouring, shots. Hard, because just yesterday that was just, they just couldn't get much of nothing going. And but I would definitely like to see those three, RJ Hart and Grimes definitely, come out, aggressive, um, get those deep rebounds, and again, contain Nurkic. Now this may be a game, will he start Sims because of Nurkic? So let's hope he do. Again, he needs to grow, you know. But we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely am curious, and I'm gonna be looking out for who's gonna be in the starting lineup, especially amongst that center position. But I think that it's important that Booker and Durant are great scorers. And I noticed they're just the type of players that you can have great defense against them, but sometimes it's just better offense, and they still are able to make those tough shots.
Yeah.
But I think I want to see if the Knicks could be able to play together, move without the ball, move the ball around a few times. It would be nice if guys cut to the basket. And I think, like I was saying before, you have to have multiple guys helping in on crashing the boards, being that you don't have Mitchell Robinson. But even if you did have Mitch there, you can't just rely on him and Randall to get the boards. You need guys like your DiVincenzo's, your Hart, your Quicklies, your RJ to help in and grab rebounds as well. So I want to see guys be able to attack the basket, put a body and box out so they can get rebounds. And if they can, run down the floor and let's try to get some quick, easy baskets down the other end of the court. But I think it's going to be so important that the Knicks really guard the 3-point line
Oh yeah.
because, unfortunately, that was part of the issue the last game. You let Booker get the ball the last seconds. And this is what I alluded to earlier. And he did just that. So I think that yeah, because the game prior to that it was Jimmy Butler when we played Miami. He missed it. And then we played Phoenix. Devin Booker got the shot in his hand and he made the 3-point shot. And it was clean. It was like boom, they won the game. So I really would like to see the Knicks not keep it a close game and try to build a lead. They can't come out slow in the third quarter. You have to come out with high energy, and they can't afford to allow one of the quarters where they get outscored by so much. That's another thing too. The scoring has to be balanced, and the Knicks have to be able to play their style of ball, which I don't think they really know what that is yet because they're not able to play together. Again, we see
That's true.
sprinkles of it, but it's not on a consistent basis. And it shows because when you have guys like RJ Barrett, who is very streaky and you don't know what you're gonna get, unfortunately, this is it shows on the game and it shows at the end result where we don't get that W at the end of the night. So I don't know. I think that the Knicks have some deep soul searching to do. Um, you think Randall played better than Obi played better than Randall in both playoff years? Obi was like Grimes, if I miss once, I'm going to the bench. But I also think Tibbs was like that with Quickly. Remember when Quickly used to come in and would just come down the court and stop and pop? And there
Yeah,
was a
he
few
did that
times
with
where Tibbs would be like, "Nah, you going to the bench? Like, what are you doing?"
yeah, when he first came into the league,
Mm-hmm.
but he see how he developed quickly too. I mean, quickly is a much better player compared to when he first came in.
Hmm.
Um, for whatever reason, Obi, he was just very, outspoken and boisterous with Tibbs, so that was a clash. And quite frankly, Tibbs, like you said, if you don't fall on on the favoritism list, then you're out. Um, but yeah, Obi, again, he has size, he has speed. He
Yeah.
will hustle down the other end. So he did a lot, and in his short time here, he yeah he outplayed Randall in some of those games. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I just think Obi, he wasn't able to really get the, I guess you could say, shine like he was looking for or wanted to, because he was
Mhm.
Randall's backup and
Or
Randall
or the
came
minutes.
first. And it was the
Yeah,
minutes, right? So that's why
yeah,
they weren't being distributed evenly. And part of that, I do blame Tibbs, because some games, there was a lot of games last season where Tibbs played guys like 39, 40 minutes. And I think that's happening this season, but it's happening more so with Brunson and Randall, where he's playing them a
yeah,
ton of minutes and the other guys are not getting as many minutes. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
understand that with Tibbs. I don't.
And that comes from like Paris said, that 8-man rotation.
Yeah.
Like you got other guys on the bench. Like why
Right.
aren't you like Deuce? He's like a Sims. You're only gonna get better by playing, by
Mhm.
running reps. So why Tibbs have that 8-man rotation is it's like a head scratcher. Serious. It's like,
Right.
but hey, that's his style and that's Tibbs.
Yeah. And if I feel like if Tibbs is gonna be like that, then that's where I think, like we were saying, in the off season, the front office needs to make their moves and do what they need to do to get rid of guys, because you got to clean up house. I just think,
He
hold
said,
on.
"RJ's my son." I like that one.
Game. RJ has been efficient. Check out the stats. RJ, my son. Um, yeah, but when he came back from the migraines, he hasn't. Now, RJ has been giving you around 15 points a game since he's come back, but wasn't Utah game and the game before last, RJ only had like 6 to 9 points the last two games? Because Utah, RJ didn't do much. He had 9 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. He was 0
What,
for 7 from the 3 point line against Utah.
what
He
his
was 3 for 4
Toronto?
from the 3 point line. He played 24 minutes and he was 3 for 16 for field goals.
Well, his Toronto, Boston, and Milwaukee, it was 27, 23, and 23 respectively. And then he dipped down to 15, 15, 16,
Mhm.
9 again. I mean, his season is he's at when you average it out, it says 19. And so in total, he's given us 3 20-point games, 20 plus games. So that's not cutting it.
Right.
That should be a consistent basis. So
Hmm.
he's given us 20 plus games 3 times through, and what we're at, how many games we're at? So, you know,
Like
that's not
22.
being
Yeah.
consistent.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I said. The last few games he was around like that 15, 16 average. And then
Mhm.
yesterday's game was 9. And it wasn't it like the game before that he had like 9 or 10 or 11
No,
points. I don't remember.
no, that was a Phoenix game back
Uh,
in November. But Toronto, Boston, and Milwaukee, he did have 27 for Toronto, 23 for Boston, 23 for Milwaukee. But he's dipped down since, those were the only 20 plus games. And what is this, 22 games that we what the 13, what with Knicks to 13 and what, 9?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's 22 games. That's not even a quarter of the games that the Knicks has
Right.
played thus far.
Right. Yeah. See,
So
that's what I'm saying. So yeah, and like I said, if he was 0 for 7 from the 3-point line.
yeah, yeah.
Grimes was 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. Josh
He
Hart
has
was 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. Jalen Brunson was 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. So the Knicks
and
can't hit
Grimes.
threes.
And RJ has yet to give us a double in rebounds.
Right.
His highest total has been 8.
Right. Yeah. This is like this is an issue with the Knicks. And I feel like in games like that, you could have possibly even gave Fournier a couple of minutes. You never know.
Mhm.
But at the mistake, and I'm a stand by that. I put that on Brunson. He should have passed DiVincenzo that ball late in the fourth. He
I
had the hot
guarantee
hand.
when he saw the film, that's something he's gonna definitely be mindful of.
Yeah. But Tibbs should have called that out. He called the timeout. Who was the
Yeah.
play for? That's my question. Who was it for? Because somehow it ended up in Josh Hart hand. Then the Knicks got the rebound or somebody tipped it. And then I think Brunson took the shot again. So I
hmm
said, why? I just didn't understand. And I even think I saw DiVincenzo at that, and he was like literally, I saw him do that, like damn, we could have won that one, but they should have just made that pass to him. It's just, I don't know. The Knicks gotta they got some quite a few things to figure out for sure. On what they're gonna do, but we'll see. So the Knicks play tomorrow, like we said, against Phoenix. Then they play again. So they have a back to back because then they play again on Saturday against the Clippers. And then they don't play again till Monday. Your predictions for the next two games?
Well, I'm gonna go 1-1. Although the Clippers has been playing well, but Phoenix, I'm gonna say 1-1. I'm betting. I'm putting my money on the Clippers game for them to win. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, I would
They've
like to
been
see
playing a lot
two.
better, by the way, the Clippers.
I
They've made a
know.
turnaround.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm gonna, go a 1-1, and then we'll discuss
Revisit.
next week.
Right. We'll
Yeah,
revisit before Monday.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll do 1-1 too. I don't know. You know, I just, from what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing anything that's going to make me say, oh, these guys, nah, they're going to take it. But I'd rather the Knicks prove me wrong. That's what I want to see, them make me eat my words. But I'm gonna go 1-1. I would like to see the Knicks redeem themselves from the loss the first matchup against Phoenix and
Oh,
be able to
sure.
take that
Yeah.
win. That would be a great win to win against them and give you that momentum. And then the Knicks
Mm-hmm.
already beat the Clippers. So you should be able to go in and get another W against them. Again, they've been having momentum. This is James Harden's best, I don't want to say start, but so far with the team compared to when he was with Brooklyn and when he was playing with Kyrie and Katie. He's playing a lot better with PG and Kawhi.
Yeah,
So, and they've been winning games as of late. So, but I would like to see if the Knicks could take these next two. And I know it's a back to back, but sometimes this is the way the makeshift of the schedule is. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna happen like that sometimes. So we'll see. I got them. I don't know. I guess 1-1. I'm gonna go with that. But I would like to see them take. It would be nice for them to take tomorrow's game against
for
Phoenix.
sure.
Because the Knicks seem to not be able to beat Phoenix. They're one of those teams that we struggle against. So yeah, we will be back with some more coverage for those games. And, with the back to backs, we'll be paying attention defensively to what the Knicks are doing because unfortunately the defense has been very lackluster. And, we'll see what happens with that game. But anything else for you before we get out of here?
Now you know my mantra. Let's go Knicks.
Yeah, we will see with the next. But salute to the chat, Parish Duggar, King Ribby, Kareem Grant, Wonder Woman. Who else
Eddie.
was with us today? Eddie, of
Mhm.
course, our number one commenter, Eddie. I think that was everybody I got today. Yeah, that was everybody. We really, really appreciate you guys engaging with us, asking us great questions in the chat. Also, King Center 718. Salute to you also. Salute to the whole chat. Salute to the replay gang for watching us and watching the videos and checking us out. Um, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting the channel. And pretty soon we'll start having other MBK family and others from other podcasters on here. Ebony from the Nick of Time. We'll start inviting other people on to join us and you know, yeah, getting some more Knicks content out here. And we'll see what happens with Taj Gibson joining the team now and this upcoming road trip as the Knicks continue on this road trip that they're on now. And we'll see you guys throughout this weekend because we'll be doing more coverage with these upcoming back-to-back games. And until next time, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on your way out, and
Tell a friend.
tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your cousin. And again, thanks for supporting our channel and watching us. And we will see you guys later. Until next time, as we always say, peace.
Peace. We out.